I don't know if you can tell, but it's really snowing hard outside. This is super cozy. Welcome to another exciting episode of Stripping. It's been a while since we last did this, and I can only apologize for that. Yeah, today's episode is going to be centered around a comic called God Complex. God Complex was sent to me by a guy called Thaddeus Cox. That's not C-O-C-K-S, it's C-O-X. And he's been making this webcomic along with his girlfriend. What I want to stress about this comic is that there are certain things that I don't touch in the webcomic relief, simply because it's a surefire way to get the crazies out there. And some of the things are politics, and another thing is religion. I purposely try not to touch on those things, even though there are crazy easy comics out there, like right for picking to poke fun of and stuff like that are centered around religion. But I don't want to shit on people's religion. I don't want to shit on people's politics and view on the world. So I just try to stay clear of those. But this is Strippin. This is not the webcomic relief. So let me just settle up here. I usually sit with my legs crossed. It's more relaxing. There you go, focus now. But yeah, God Complex, as you might have guessed by now, is a comic with religious themes. And I was laying in bed last night thinking, like, how do I sum up this comic like the best way? And probably the best way to do so is, like, think of Scandinavia and the world, but do it with different religions instead of countries. And instead of making one-off strips, make it actual, like, one-off strips that are sometimes connected into a bigger story, if that makes any sense. That's basically what God Complex is. I gotta be honest, when I first read this, I loved the shit out of it. Wow. I had never, like, when I first read it, it was kind of hard because I might as well just say now with it. Whenever I read a comic, like a webcomic, I try to read it on my iPad so I can read it whenever I lie in bed, or but yeah. So I usually read it on my iPad, and I was reading this on the iPad, and the problem with the page that I was linked to, which was hold on, let me take a look at. It was not there. Hold on. It was tabtastic.com, and the problem with that page is that it doesn't work super well with an iPad. Maybe I should, replace the iPad. I don't know. So there was a lot of back and forth with how the fuck do I find the first page, and there was a little jumping back and forth because there is the comic called God Complex, and then there's the comic called God Complex Dogma Days. They are the same comic. Dogma Days just seems to be the sequel of God Complex. Or part 2, I don't know. But wow, when I finally got around to, okay, here's the beginning, and then started reading it, it was a total treat. This comic is oozing with charm. It's really fantastic. And, like, the thing about it is that its art style is probably, like, the thing that sets it apart from everything else, because it's so different. You can tell, like, the people who are making this comic, it could easily make a more artistic style. Like, it could easily be more detailed. It could easily be done better, but they chose to stick with this style. And whenever the necessity appears for them to up the ante on the style and make it prettier to look at, well, they are doing so, and that works really, really well. So, like I've said before, you don't have to have a super complicated or detailed style for your art to be pretty. Sometimes just all you need is the charm, and this comic has it. Sometimes simple is best, and this comic really nails that out of the park. Basically what it is that you have this religious figure, Morrigan. I think she's from a Celtish religion. I'm not sure. I'm not touching that shit with a 10-foot pole. But apparently she has broken up with Jesus Christ. Okay. Before I go any further, if you are super religious, like if you cannot handle anyone touching your religion with a little grain of salt and a little, you know, poking a little fun of it, stop the video now. Okay? But anyway, Morrigan has broken up with Jesus Christ and is moving out, and so she's trying to find out where she can live, and she ends up living with Foom, I think it is. Foom, the daughter of Odin, and Athena, and the daughter of Anubis, whose name I have forgotten. You would think I had written this down, but I'm an idiot. I need to check that. Sorry, I'll tell you more about the comic while I'm doing this. But the comic is basically just the weird thing, the weird things that these characters get up to. With the different personalities and like the different religions. Okay, so here we go. We have Fruit, which is the daughter of Thor and Sif of the Riiser clan, and we have Athena. I don't take it that you need an introduction into who Athena is. If you do, then like read a book. And hold on. Of course, like the one person that's not listed is that chick. Ah, god damn it. Okay, but yeah, fine. It's not important, really. Well, it's kind of sort of is, because the characters are really what drives this comic. The story is really, at this point, there's nothing to talk about. Like the story is non-existing. The whole idea of this thing is just that the characters, like the story comes from how the characters react to each other. So we got this Athena, who's being portrayed as this teenager girl with like high school girl, like, oh, I had to text him and, oh my god, did you watch Cha Cha? Which is really cool. You have, you have Fruit, I think, who is this kind of quiet, closed off girl, who is like the straight man of the group, so to speak, and Morrigan, who is like the childish, innocent, super energetic character, and you have Anubis' daughter, don't hate me for not remembering that name, who is like just, ugh, you guys, like she's like, if you had a teenage drama, she would be the gothy emo chick. Like, oh, come on, you guys. Oh, you know, that kind of character. And basically what it is just how these characters react to each other and the world around them. And the funny thing is that you're seeing these very different, like all sorts of mythological characters just hanging around. It's super fun to look at. So you'll have like Cupid and a Cyclops just hanging out in the background drinking beer. It's really fun. It kind of reminds me of, I have never read the comics, but I know of their existence, the Fable comics, where it's just basically these fairy tale characters just, you know, living in this one part of the city and just hanging out. It's basically like that, just with a more, this doesn't sound very flattering, but basically just that with a high school high school drama theme to it. But when I say like that, you normally don't hold high school drama. Oh shit, that's like the bottom of the barrel. But this is actually done really, really well. I've gone on long enough, so I just want to really fast touch on something that I find is very important to touch on. How long has I even been going for? Okay, only 10 minutes. There is one thing though. Oh, by the way, the comic is created by a team called Name Pending Studios. I think I should just throw that out there. But I talked about Dogma Days earlier, and a thing that I want to point out is that I really like the style of how the comic was before. You can tell that from what I'm saying. I loved how it didn't take itself too serious. The jokes were sometimes a little dumb, but they were always, you know, heartwarming, and it was cute and it was funny, and you know, and the story progressed, and it didn't deal with very big issues. It was just like, oh my god, do I take Hercules to the prom? I mean, what? I had to do my hair. That doesn't happen, but you know, it's kind of minimalistic stuff like that. But then Dogma Days happens, and the tone changes completely. This can go either of two ways. I'm going to be blatantly honest here. It can either destroy the comic, or it can make the comic. The way that it can destroy the comic is that if it becomes too much, if it becomes too serious, you gotta think about it for a second. If this thing becomes too serious, you're having a serious comic that is meant to be taken serious, where Jesus Christ is hanging out with Athena or Susanoo from the Japanese religion. Like, you're supposed to take this serious, and I can't possibly be the only one who would have a hard time doing that. So there is that. If you can make it work, if you can fit in some comedy with it, make sure that the tone doesn't become too serious. Keep it light, keep it like, okay, there is something going on here. Don't think too hard about it. Then you can create something really fantastic here. But if you're supposed to take this serious, and with the storyline going as it is now, it kind of expects you to, then it can break the comic. What we had before, the funny, silly, heartwarming comic, really, that's what really I feel like was the perfect fit for this comic. Because, like I said, you cannot take, like, you will have a hard time justifying like having Jesus Christ hanging out with Athena and Susanoo and Medusa and characters like that. You will have a hard time justifying that and be like, no, you're supposed to take this comic serious. Like, no one's going to do that. The premise in itself is silly. So if you're trying to tell something serious with a silly, you know, like foundation, that's not gonna work. At least I don't think so. Like, I don't want to keep saying like this is my opinion, but everything I say here is my opinion. Like, there's no, like I said in the finale of the Webcomic Relief, there's no wrong way, there's no right way. If this is how your comic is supposed to be, then that's the right way. Just know that me and what I think a lot of people are thinking is that just wouldn't work. It would ruin what you have here, which is a really cool comic. But maybe, you know, it can go both ways. There's not a lot of, like, there's over 100 pages, but there's not a lot. There's not, like, it can go both ways. One thing that in my notes here that I want to point out before I finish off is that it's a compliment. Is that I really appreciate how much research, I think it is, or just basic knowledge has gone into this comic. I mean, holy hell! Like, there's something so funny. Like, Judas is coming out to Jesus Christ, and Judas like, high five, Jesus. Jesus is like, oh god, oh god, oh god, it's Judas. Oh boy, I have a hard relationship with this. Like, do I turn the other cheek like I'm known to do, or like, what if he kisses me again? I'm like, it was that, what if he kisses me again? That they kind of got me like, oh what? Oh right, Judas kissed Jesus. Huh? And that kind of got me like thinking, wow, these people, like, they really know their stuff. Like, I had to really sit down and fucking think about that one for a second. So, if this comic really, I don't know how popular it is. I haven't done any research. Like, that's kind of the point with Strippin. I just sit down and read this shit. I don't really go into that much detail. But if this comic really gets these guys off the ground and they can start living off of that, like, just dedicate a lot of time to go into these, like, just like Scandinavia and the world does. Go into these stories and these, you know, characters and think about, like, what did they do and stuff, like, because a thing that I could just throw it out there now, geography, politics, and stuff like that, I got history in general, I am clueless. I don't know jack shit about stuff like that. But thanks to Scandinavia and the world, which was also out when I went to college and I had to take my history exam, I used a lot of stuff that, because like I was picking out the subject like, there's no way I'm passing this. And I was like, why not? And so I tried to take some information that I happen to know from Scandinavia and the world, and it kind of gave me a passing grade. So if you can give information in this funny way, like show funny little quirks that the religions have or had, and fit it into your comic, then wow, I would love that. But again, that's just me. On the other hand, though, we have seen what can happen if you're not careful by depicting different religions in art. So while you know, so far the comic is doing it really well. Let's just get that out of the way, because there's no doubt I'm obviously talking about the things that happened in Paris, which is super tragic. But I hate to put a but at the end there. It's tragic nonetheless. The thing about that was that they just happened to depict the things very, I won't say hostile, but they were kind of being like dicks about some of the things they drew. And like that's satire. That's what you do. But the way that the God Complex does it, like, not to touch on really heavy themes, is it's nice about it. It's funny. It's like ha 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 ha. It's cute little stuff like that. And if it just keeps it like that, I don't think like anyone could get the niggas in a twist. That's basically what I had to say about this. So really, thank you guys. Thank you, Thaddeus Cox, for suggesting God Complex to me. It was a treat to read, and I will definitely read more of it in the future. You guys can check it out in the link that I'm throwing in the description. And also, let's just take a look at this. Well, these. This is I wrote it on my Twitter. I'm currently, you know, commissioning different webcomic artists to just draw some things, because I think like I'm kind of making this whole thing from, you know, having fun with webcomics and reviewing them. So I kind of thought like it would only be fair if I gave a little back. So first of all, let's see if I can actually place the pictures here. First of all, we have this amazing piece done by, this is so weird because I can't see it. I'm going to put it in later, but this amazing piece done by Michael, or better known as Skid from MovieQuest. This is one of my characters called Alice from one of the stories that I have been making. You can't find it anywhere. Called Sin. Kind of wanted to give her like the whole hot secretary look, and I dare say he nailed it. And of course, we have this one, which is made by, you probably guessed it from the start. This is Luke McKay. I'm not pointing at it. This is Luke McKay, who is drawing me like a Punch-Out character. Like this is me as Little Mac, and I love Little Mac. But yeah, I have gotten a bunch of fan art since my last Strippin episode, so expect there to be more. But if you have some fan art or a comic that you wanna send in to the show, you can do so on the page that I'll be writing here. But in case you're listening to this instead of watching this, don't know why you would though. You can send anything that you want on a private message on YouTube, or you can just write it to Riiser@mail.com. It's like, I tried my hardest to make the web page as simple as humanly possible. It's pretty simple. I really hope that I don't forget putting shit into this video. I'm just kidding. But yeah, that's basically it for this episode of Strippin. I hope you guys enjoyed. Send your comics that you want me to review, just really casual like. You got fan art, just, you know, hook me up. Follow me on Twitter, look at the Patreon. Have a nice day. Bye bye.